We have a 52-year male patient with complaints of painless total hematuria. Since 2 weeks, multiple episodes associated with clots, amorphous clots. Then he denies any LUTS, pain, fever, or prior lithuria. No history of loss of appetite, cough, or bony pain.
So when you have this history, what are your immediate thoughts?
Hardik?
Sir, that whether hematuria is painless or painful, associated with clot or no clot.
So
whether
if you are not paying attention to the presentation, it's a problem. He has already told you these things.
Yes. Sir, 52-year male with total painless hematuria, sir, with a clot. So first, I will suspect, sir, carcinoma bladder. Malignant etiology, sir.
The answer to that question is that my first diagnosis would be urothelial malignancy unless proven otherwise.
Yes.
Okay. And since Kamal is making this presentation and I've just seen a history yesterday, there was a patient with ureteric colic and painless total hematuria. So that doesn't make any sense. Kamal, that is for you.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So, but when you have painless total hematuria, you don't go around saying painless total hematuria and all that. You just say, I will think of urothelial malignancy unless proven otherwise.
Okay, sir.
Okay. You should be able to list out the causes of hematuria. So how would you classify it? Suppose you were asked that, how would you answer that question? Other than urothelial malignancy.
Sir, infective cause of infective cause in the form of genitourinary tuberculosis, schistosomiasis. Then urolithiasis, stone disease, sir. Then vascular malformation in the form of arteriovenous malformation, renal vein thrombosis. Then traumatic congenital ADPKD with bleeding, sir. Patient on drug causes in a patient is on anticoagulant and nephrological causes.
Yeah, that's a reasonably comprehensive list. Another way of classifying hematuria is to think of the kidney as a cause, systemic disorders as a possible cause, then come to the kidney, then come to the ureter, then come to the bladder, then come to the prostate.
Yes.
Okay, in each of these organs, if you then go and say, by the way, your list did not include RCC. So if you go to the kidney, you say neoplastic causes, you miss out one or two, doesn't matter.
Yes.
So when these broad questions are asked, I've repeatedly said you need to learn to classify. So the better you classify, the easier it will be to answer.
Okay, sir.
Go ahead, Kamal.
Yes, sir. He had a past history of similar complaints 6 months back, which was subsided spontaneously. He had recently gone lap inguinal hernioplasty 1 month ago. And he recently diagnosed diabetes mellitus with no prior drug allergy history. He is a chronic smoker and occasional alcoholic since 20 years, and he has stopped smoking since 3 years. No other history of tobacco exposure or any drug abuse. Hardik, I'll proceed.
Sir, this similar episode 6 months back, he shown to local physician or any history of intervention for that or any investigation for hematuria?
Sir, local, they have, at that time, it was a subsided spontaneously, sir. So, they didn't visited any of the local physician. later, before lap inguinal hernioplasty, the patient visited the surgeon. At that time, ultrasound was done.
So, Hardik, question to you is one episode of hematuria needed to evaluate everything, or can you ignore it?
We have
One
to
episode
evaluate,
of
sir.
self-limiting hematuria, patient has come to you. Can we ignore it?
No, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So every episode of hematuria, or even if it is only once, it needs a complete evaluation.
Yes.
What does the history of diabetes tell you?
Sorry, sir.
In your differentials, does this
Huh.
history of diabetes ring a bell? Would you like to think of something because he is a diabetic?
Uh, Sir, papillary necrosis that causes.
Okay. Before we proceed, why is it only the papilla that bleeds and no other part which bleeds? Or why does the papilla necrose? Why doesn't the cortex necrose?
No, sorry, sir.
Anybody else wants to answer that? Okay, so anatomically, the papilla is the most ischemic part of the kidney. If you look at the blood supply, you have the vasa recta supplying everything else and then reaching the papilla. So it is relatively ischemic areas, and that is why they tend to necrose before any other part gets affected. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Hardik, if you are presenting this case, now
Yes, sir.
how would you, looking this past history of hematuria, in urological setup, how would you have presented this? What I am saying, any urological problem, you put it straight in the presenting history rather than in the past history. You say gross, recurrent, intermittent, painless, total hematuria with clots in one sentence from 6 months. You don't have to say that he presented now since 2 days and then it was there 6 months back. So you know what it is from 6 months.
Okay, sir.
Hematuria is not something which everybody experiences every now and then. So if it was there earlier, patient would have ignored it, it subsided, whatever. But when you're presenting it, you can say it as directly because you know what you're dealing with. Because the 6 months history is very important. Okay.
Next slide. Oh. So, sir, my based on the history, 52 years male with total painless hematuria, my differential diagnosis are first, sir, CA bladder, sir, carcinoma bladder. Second,
He told you, no, don't say carcinoma bladder. What did he tell?
transition, sir, carcinoma.
No. These are all old terms.
Urothelial cancer.
So use these proper terms. Urothelial malignancy. Okay. Anyway, we have discussed it already. You will go proceed. We'll examine and then we'll come back to
Okay,
the...
sir. Okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir. Sir, on general examination, BP is 130 by 80 mmHg and no other paler or icterus cyanosis, sir, and ECOG is 1. On abdomen exam only, multiple scar is present for previous surgery, no other positive finding. Genitalia is also normal.
What surgery has he had? I've missed that.
Sir,
Lap or...
left hernioplasty, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, proceed. Now what
Next.
you want to do? Yeah, now what do you want to do? Finished. Examination is over.
Sir, I want some basic investigation in the form of, sir, complete blood count, urine routine.
Sorry, rectal examination is pending. Okay.
So Hardik, I was about to ask you that it is all right to disagree with the examiner and say that I'm not happy with the examination.
Okay, sir.
Anyway, did not help. So now what?
Sir, I want to proceed with investigation in the form of complete blood count, urine routine and microscopic examination, serum creatinine, blood urea, and urine cytology.
What is that? BGT? Blood group?
Blood grouping and typing.
Typing. Okay.
Come and show him all the investigations that he's asked for.
Yeah, go back. That total is bilirubin.
Indirect, more, sir, 2.33. On a urine routine exam, sir, sugar 3+, and first cell and RBC is also present. So maybe, and RBC is RBS is 270. So maybe patient have uncontrolled blood sugar. And HB, sir, 16. Even after patient have a total hematuria, multiple episodes since 2 weeks, like 16. So it also.
So is it very common for hemoglobin to fall with hematuria, or is it very uncommon?
It's uncommon, sir.
Yeah, usually the patients are so alarmed that they will come to you much before the anemia can happen. Very rarely do they come with fallen hemoglobin. So don't highlight unnecessary things. You'll get into trouble.
Okay, sir.
This urine analysis in a patient with gross hematuria, how important is it, man? Hardik, you will always decide anything based on the urine analysis? Or you say whatever it is, I will proceed?
Sir, rule out any presence of infection, sir. Pyuria. It also gives information about the present proteinuria and presence of first cell.
Let us say there is numerous RBCs and +3 protein. What do you think of?
Like, sir, in case of RCC, if renal vein involvement is there, then a patient may have proteinuria in the form of 2+, 3+. So it suggests renal vascular involvement means.
Okay, suppose urine comes completely normal, no protein, no RBC, no WBCs. Will you say, okay, proceed, go home, nothing to worry?
No, sir, because in this case, hematuria is intermittent, so urine routine may be normal at that time, at that collection time. So 2 consecutive urine routine microscopy negative, then we have to tell.
So he came today, he comes back 1 week later. Both the urine analyses are perfectly normal. No sugar, no RBC, no WBC, no protein. So you tell him to go home? He has come to you as advised.
Yes, sir. We have to tell the patient to, if another episode of hematuria will develop at that time, immediately come to the hospital with.
So he had 6 months back and he had now. And now the present 2 urine analysis is normal.
I think you can't answer the same question asked differently incorrectly. He said any episode of hematuria needs complete evaluation. We just discussed that. Then how can you go back and tell the patient that come back if there is any episode of hematuria? any history of hematuria needs complete evaluation. Unless it is painful hematuria at the initiation of voiding, not total, then it is different.
Yes, sir.
Hardik, that is applicable for microscopic hematuria. I think you have got confused.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Microscopic hematuria has different rules, whereas gross hematuria, the rules are different. Gross hematuria, if the patient says he has seen blood, you complete your investigation, including cystoscopy. Whereas, even if the urine analysis is normal, whereas in microscopic hematuria, this point of risk factors, all those things comes. More than 35 years with risk factors, 2 documented microscopic hematuria, you will do a cystoscopy. This is AUA guideline.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so next.
Yes, sir. Urine cytology is negative. No decoy cell or malignant cell.
Can you criticize the report? There is something in this written.
In the presence of hematuria, sir, false negative, there is chances of false negative urine cytology, sir.
No, they can pick up, but it is written only day 1 sample. You should do it on
3
sample. 3 consecutive samples on different days, ideally, but with logistic issues and all, you may do it 3 voided samples, freshly voided sample. That word fresh and to be used.
Yes.
It need not be midstream. 3 freshly voided samples, ideally on consecutive days.
On ultrasonographic image of bladder and kidney, bladder is distended with regular contour, no irregular bladder wall thickness, and no content is normal, no echogenic content. On left kidney, sir, normal shape and size with maintained corticomedullary differentiation, no space occupying lesion. On the right kidney image showing echogenic content in the medullary region with
Is it normal or what is the
irregular
problem?
outlines. Sir, not able to read.
What can you appreciate? Compare it with the opposite side. What difference you will see? Is there some amount of dilatation?
Yes, sir. With dilate hydronephrosis is there with hypoechoic mass-like structure in the medullary region.
So you're thinking of a clot, stone?
But sir, no post-acoustic shadow, sir. Clot or...
What is the size of that? Okay. If you want to see the report, you can go around. Of course, one is you have to describe it. Second is you have to tell what it can be. Okay. Anyway.
Report it came as like only right hydronephrosis.
Okay.
Nothing.
So you want to go ahead with plain CT or contrast?
Contrast, sir. I want to go ahead. Yeah.
See,
Contrast evidence.
Yeah, just info for all residents. If the sugars are not controlled, get the sugars controlled before you do a contrast study because there is increased renal toxicity in the presence of contrast-induced toxicity if the sugars are not controlled. There's nothing, you're not going to plan immediate this thing. If the creatine is high, hydrate. If the sugars are not high, if it is high, control it and then plan it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are they can run over again?
Yes. Axial image on.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. This. It's a contrast hand and CT scan of the abdomen and pelvis showing so left kidney is normal shape and size and good uptake of contrast. On the right side, there is a hydronephrosis is present, sir, right side, with a thinning of parenchyma in the lower and mid pole and maintaining a regular contour and normal size, sir, with no vascular and
What do you mean?
irregular outline, irregular callicial outline in the mid and lower pole, sir.
See, one is you said mid-pole. So use the word interpolar.
Interpolar, sir.
Right. Now you said vascular. What do you mean by that vascular?
Means renal vein or no anomaly, renal vein or artery, sir.
See, I don't know whether you are talking about enhancing lesion in the pelvis, pelvic system, or you are talking of the renal vessels. If you use phrases, I would complete the statement to give a proper information what you try to convey. Okay, what else? See, again, the left side you want to say, the other side, you said uptake. Then what? Is there a good excretion of contrast? You want to see not just uptake, you want to see the excretion of contrast and compare the contrast uptake on both the sides. Whether the function is equal on both the sides or it is reduced on the affected side. That's something you have to always mention. You did not tell that. Okay. Then you finished.
So next image. Sir, here in the second image that outline that callicial lower pole is in some filling defect like.
See, callicial outline you can comment in delayed images. This I think is a portal image.
Venus, yes.
Yes. You comment on appropriate this thing, or you see all the series and then comment.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Next. Yes, sir. In around 2 into 1 centimeter irregular mass-like region seen in the pelvis, sir, with
So what do you want to see in that mass, man? Is it regular?
irregular in, sir, and irregular. No, sir, no hypoechogenic in
No,
API.
I'll give you in the arterial phase. What do you want to see in that?
Uptake, sir, contrast, enhancing or non-enhancing, sir.
Yeah, so that information you want, whether it is enhancing or not enhancing. Can you give an example of non-enhancing similar lesion? Don't know. Long gap. You should tell 3, 4, 5 causes, man.
Sir, enhancing.
Non-enhancing. You listen to the question. Non-enhancing similar lesion. Yeah, one is clot. Yes, next. What else? Yeah, large necrous papilla. Then fungal ball. These don't enhance. So if you have an enhancing lesion, foreign body very unlikely. Somebody has to put it in, unless he has undergone some procedure. Okay, so that's what in arterial phase you have to see whether this enhances or not. And usually in tumors there will be unequal dilatation of the calyces. Whereas if you compare it with the PUJ, there will be global. All the calyces will be equally dilated. Whereas in tumors, it infiltrates one of the infundibuli or calyces and all. This causes unequal dilatation. Okay, what do you want to do now? You are okay? You want to see when you complete a CT scan, if you are uninterrupted, you say there are no lymph nodes, the renal vein is normal, the other organs in that is the liver, spleen, the lower chest cuts, everything else is normal. Opposite kidney is normal functioning, excretion. All these statements have to come because these are sometimes most commonly missed.
Yes.
And other commonly missed is the bladder. Now you have a urothelial tumor, you should say about whatever. The bladder looks normal, whatever. Normal distended and okay, right.
Here, sir, enlarged lymph node is present, sir, in between interaortic region.
Is it a renal vein thrombus or it is a lymph node? How will you differentiate?
It's renal vein thrombus. It also take up the contrast on the arterial phase, sir, and so as a filling defect and irregular outline and associated with sir, collateral development of collateral circulation. Sir.
Okay, so if you are looking at a lymph node, how will you categorically say this is lymph node. What does the radiologist do to say this is lymph node? Or why not it is a bowel? Can you or
It is-
cannot?
Yes, sir, it is heterogeneous with irregular outline lymph node and
No, I am saying it's some duodenal loop which is sitting
sir,
there.
loss of fatty hilum surface and so.
No. The radiologist has a different way of confirming it as a lymph node. How? Normally, if you say I am looking for lymph nodal spread, they will do some additional step. What do? They will give oral contrast. If there is a contrast within, you run through the plane. I mean, after you give contrast, oral contrast, you do a CT. So you know what all. If it's a bowel, the bowel will be outlined. If it is a lymph node, it will, especially in the duodenal area, it's sometimes confusing. Anyhow, this is a large one. I'm talking of when it is small. That's how they differentiate whether this is a lymph node or it is a bowel.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Anyhow, whatever, the diagnosis is clear. So what do you want to do now?
I want workup for sir metastatic involvement in the form of a liver function test, like SGPT, SGOT, alkaline phosphatase, albumin, and total protein.
You
Also
already said bilirubin,
serum calcium.
Bilirubin is already high.
Sir.
What do? So you say this is due to biliary obstruction or due to metastasis? You said in the CT the liver looks all right.
Yes.
What is it called when the liver function is abnormal in a case of RCC? What is it
Stroker
called
syndrome,
as?
sir. Stroker syndrome, non-malignant.
So it becomes non-malignant.
No. Non-metastatic sorry, sir, forget that now.
Hepatic dysfunction.
Hepatic
So what is it due to? What is it due to? And which
It is a
component
release
of
of
the liver
interleukin 6 and 2 from the in the form of paraneoplastic syndrome from RCC. And it improves
Okay,
after
which
the
component of the
development.
liver? Yeah, which component of the liver function is normally affected? Or it is all or none phenomena? Is it the bilirubin or is it something else?
Sir, PTI are affected.
Liver enzymes. And what are the liver enzymes you have to? Okay.
SGPT. Yes.
Okay.
So
in a patient who has abnormal liver function, is there a need to worry about, or is it just ignore it and go ahead?
It represents the prognostic factor in it is so the poor prognostic factor, sir. Like
no, other than the poor prognostic factors, why are you worried about? Is there a need to worry or just let's see after the tumor removal, let us investigate later. Or is it of concern?
Also, sir, for follow-up management of patient, like in form of chemotherapy to adjuvant treatment, it
No, I
will
agree.
affect.
Before that, that is, you are already post-op. I am talking of before the surgery or during the surgery. Is there any concern if the liver is affected? Liver function is affected.
Yes, sir. If you are planning from bowel and anastomosis or many anesthetic drugs is exuded from the kidney, so it affects liver through the. So.
Yeah, so liver function is an important thing. Just like you're worried about renal function, if the liver function or cardiac function is affected, all your surgical complications become more.
Yes.
The wound healing, everything gets affected. So you have to investigate why the liver disorder is there. Maybe you need to see whether he has some kind of Gilbert syndrome where only the bilirubin is high, unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia. Is there any hemolysis? Whatever. Investigate and find out rather than just saying it's marginally raised and proceed. Okay, anyhow, let's say that you're done the rest of the liver function.
Sir, patient came with these reports, sir. We have done MRI, sir.
Okay. Why you want to do MRI, man?
Sir, there is a doubt of IVC involvement, so.
Okay. Which phase of the CT renogram will tell you there is IVC involvement?
Venous space, sir. Portal.
Yeah. See, all this better to have the CD of this thing. You can track the IVC, the renal artery, everything. It gives a much clearer picture rather than the static images, which are ultimately given by the technician. No, they have mentioned portal phase. Okay. Anyhow, if you want to, but usually you have a contrast CT, there is no need to go for, and you can, in the exam, let's say, you are given this, you cannot say, I want an MRI on top of this. Either you do one of them. Or the quality of CT is bad that you want to do it, then it's a different ball game. But ideally, a well done contrast CT is almost equal to, as far as the renal vein and IVC involvement is concerned. You should be able to tell it. You should not say, I will do one more test. Only reason, as I said, if the quality of that CT is not good. Okay, proceed.
MRI films are available.
So
Next.
What features tell you there is a renal vein thrombus to IVC thrombus? This is a standard question. One, two, three, four.
healing defects, sir. Enhancement. Presence of collateral. Irregular outline.
See, when you're talking of this thing, you should say which phase you are looking for.
Yes, sir. Venous
Correct?
phase. Yes.
Venous. Second, the vein will be dilated. Correct? You said filling defect, this, that, okay, but usually to begin with, the vein will be more dilated compared to the opposite side, there will be a filling defect. Now, with whether it will be enhancing or not depends whether it's a tumor thrombus or it's a
Or
bland
blend
thrombus.
thrombo. Yes.
Tumor thrombus usually enhances, whereas bland thrombus does not. Whether the tumor thrombus is infiltrating the IVC is another difficult question, which sometimes you have to open and only then you will know whether it is infiltrating or not infiltrating. But there will be some suspicion that this is infiltrating. Then you should tell what is the level of the thrombus, whether it is level 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. This much information you should say now that you have asked for MRI. Because after MRI also you cannot say, I still don't know. Now, is it a lymph node or it is a IVC thrombus?
Sir, lymph, sir, in the second down image of
See, other thing is when an important image, this is for the person who has done the slide. If it's an important image, you focus on one particular image rather than just putting out, full 8 images or 10 images or 25 images. It will be nice if you highlight a particular area, one particular image which has the most information.
Okay, sir.
Anyhow, so you have done MRI now. What is your interpretation?
Images are available, sir.
Huh? So next is you want to do PET CT? Oh, yeah. Okay, this is a little better.
it is a infiltrative lesion with involvement of aortocaval lymph node. No filling defect in the IVC, sir.
Okay, so what do you want to do now? Metastatic workup done and you ask for it. Other than some liver abnormalities, rest of it is normal.
Sir, I will proceed with this is a transitional cell carcinoma of the renal pelvis with lymph node involvement, sir. I will go for a right open radical nephrourectomy with a bladder cuff excision, sir.
Before you do this surgery, anything step you have missed? Before you put an incision in the flank, what is the step you have missed? He is anesthetized.
Cystoscopy examination, sir.
If you miss that, you are in deep trouble.
Yes, sir.
Because this is a urothelial tumor. There can be another
yes,
tumor
sir.
in the bladder. And you cannot skip that step. So you should always say,
yes, sir. Cystoscopy plus.
there is no need to do a left side bulb ureterogram because you have done contrast CT, but you have to do a cystoscopy definitely.
Sir, no need RGP. Should we have to do or no, sir?
No. This is a confirmed on CT contrast. There is a tumor. Then there is no need. Suppose there is a suspicion, you are not satisfied. Then you can do RIRS also.
Yes.
You need to confirm. If there is a tumor which is confirmed as enhancing in a CT, you can proceed with the radical nephrectomy. Having said that, there are still some cases of nephroiretectomy specimen which turn out later to be benign, like this. But you will not be penalized for that, because that is of course, this is going outside. I mean, there is a lymph nodes and all that, 99 to 100%, it is a metastatic lymph node. But
Yes, sir.
when you have a strong suspicion of urothelial malignancy, earlier there was no guideline to go inside and have a look, but now AU guidelines mention, so if you have a suspicion, you go inside and have a look, ureteroscopy or RIRS, to confirm that and to reduce the number of negative final histopathology.
Yes, sir.
So what do you want? So you did a cystoscopy and then?
Proceed with sir, right radical nephroirectomy with bladder cuff excision.
So what difficulties you will encounter in this case?
Difficult to, sir, separate the kidney from the bowel, like duodenum, because it's close proximity with the duodenum, and also involvement of the lymph node. And lymph node is compressing the IVC and venous vasculature. So it is difficult to separating the lymph node and kidney from the IVC and renal IVC, sir.
Basically, you have to say the hilar dissection will be the most difficult step.
Yes.
When there is a lymph node, in such a large lymph node, getting these vessels will be a very difficult. You are just seeing the CT image, whereas what you see there will be a large number of lymphatics, there will be a lot of adhesions around. So getting into these vessels will be the most difficult step, especially when there is a large node, lifting the IVC. There will be, how will you get into, in such situations, how will you get the artery, how will you get the vein? How will you get the renal artery? You are going at the hilum, everything is jammed, traffic jam. You can't identify anything. The vessel, sometimes behind the lymph node.
We have to trace this IVC, and then we have to take control of renal vein from the IVC. Or in the interaortic cable groove, we have to dissect and
Sometimes you have to get the right renal artery, you have to go into the intra-aortic cable region, look for it, and then ligate it there. Renal vein is again, because of the IVC is displaced, usually sometimes the tumor is engulfing these vessels, so it can be a bloody operation. All said and done, arrange blood adequately. When there is a hilar tumor, it can bleed.
yes.
So what?
Sorry, Prabhu. If I insist on a formal lymphadenectomy, how would you argue with me?
Sir, there is no role of a lymphadenectomy in sir T1 disease. It is for improved staging and sir in the T1, but in invasive disease it improve the survival and staging in case of transitional cell carcinoma of upper tract, sir.
As per the radiology, this is node positive disease. So what is the harm in taking it out, or do you gain anything by taking it out?
Sir, improve staging and survival after lymphadenectomy, sir. Complete staging and survival.
This also has been discussed multiple times. There is an improvement in survival only if there is microscopic lymph node involvement. If there is gross lymph node involvement, or if there is no lymph node involvement, then lymphadenectomy does not help. Go back and read those studies. You should be able to quote them.
What is the template for doing lymphadenectomy in a transitional cell carcinoma
Sir,
of the upper tract?
in upper tract, sir, for pelvic tumor, we have to dissect hilar interaortic cable lymph node up to the inferior mesenteric artery, sir. Means dissection. In upper 2/3 of the ureter, up to aortic bifurcation, we have to dissect the lymph node. And in the lower 1/3 of ureter, only we have to dissect the pelvic group of lymph node, sir.
Yeah, there are nice diagrams in the Campbell. You go and read. It's you have to go up to the renal hilum all the time, even if it is the lower ureteric. If you are thinking of transitional cell, you have to go up to the renal hilar lymph nodes in all the cases, rather than only the pelvic lymph nodes. In a bladder, it is different. Whereas urothelial tumor of the ureter and the upper tract, ureter and the pelvical system, always it is up to the hilum.
Okay.
Yeah, see the templates.
Okay, sir.
Have you done the surgery? Is it over? Or?
No, sir, we have done cystoscopy, and we took the URS and I took the biopsy, sir. And the biopsy report came as a medullary carcinoma.
So, biopsy from the percutaneous or cysto? I mean, how did it?
URS, sir.
Yes, Hardik, is that recommended?
No, sir. If radiologically confirm, radiological proven diagnosis, then no need for biopsy in sir upper tract UCC.
What are the problems with biopsying these tumors?
Down staging of this tumor means lower stage we can than actual staging.
Down staging is a very good thing in malignancies, man. What do you mean by down staging? Please choose your words carefully. Do you mean seeding of the tumor into the other parts of the...
Yes, sir. And also, sir, during biopsy, we can't take a full biopsy. Like peri-adventitial tissue will not get in that biopsy. So that involvement, whether it is involved or not involved, we can't get sir, through that biopsy. So false negative staging will be there.
So most of the time, the biopsy samples are inadequate because that flexible cup biopsy forceps that you have is quite small. So it is not recommended. Then they have gone and reported medullary carcinoma. Do you agree with that? Have you heard of medullary carcinoma in the kidney?
Yes, sir. In renal cell carcinoma. Sir.
Yes. And would that be good news or bad news?
Sir, poor prognosis, medullary carcinoma.
Okay. So now you've done a nephroureterectomy. Finally, it comes as TCC of the renal pelvis. What will you advise?
I advise to the patient to the regular follow-up, sir, to see for the concurrent presence of metachronous tumor in the bladder, like high chances of concurrent bladder tumor in 20 to 25% of cases with UTUs, sir. And also contralateral development of transitional cell carcinoma in 2 to 5% of cases, sir. So strict follow-up required.
No, Hardik, when a question like that is asked, you say, I want to know the final report, including the grade of the tumor, whether the lymph node is positive, what is the final stage of the tumor, and then you tell what you want to say. You should ask when a situation like now he's giving you a possible diagnosis, possible staging, because he has not told the confirm. So you ask more questions.
Okay, sir.
How many lymph nodes were there? Were all the tumors positive? Was it only necrotic area? Whatever. What was the grade? What was the cystoscopy? Was it negative?
Yes.
Yeah, margin negative, positive, whatever. So ask all relevant questions before you tell something. If you are unhappy, you ask more questions.
So let's say the lymph nodes were all inflammatory, reactive nodes. It was a T1 tumor.
Sir, then sir, no need for sir adjuvant treatment if T1 and no lymph node involvement, sir.
And if it is involved, then what do we do? T2, T3, N positive disease.
Adjuvant chemotherapy required, sir, in that invasive decision.
Hardik, I would expect more from you. If there has been an important trial which is being quoted everywhere, you are expected to know. And what are the results of that trial? What chemotherapy?
It is sir POUT trial.
Okay. Does survival improve? How much does it improve? So this is for everybody. You will have to go and find out about the important trials and know the results in some detail. At least what is given in the abstracts, you should be able to quote. For a lot of malignancies, a lot of trials have been done. It cannot be a vague answer that POUT trial, what does POUT stand for? What chemotherapy, what's improvement in survival? So for each malignancy, there are some important trials. For each, even for benign conditions, if there are important trials like the lower pole study for lower pole calculi, you have to go and read some of these important studies. Understood?
Yes, sir.
How will you decide on a follow-up schedule? What is the usual follow-up?
Every 3 months is sir cystoscopy for 1 year. And every 6 monthly, then 6 monthly for next 2 to 3 years, sir. And then annually, sir. General follow-up, sir. Cytology and cystoscopy 3 monthly for 1 year, and then 6 monthly next 2 to 3 years, and then annually, sir. And imaging CT scan, sir, every 6 months, sir.
Okay. So, Prabhu, anything?
Again, other question is how will you tackle the lower end of the ureter with the vesicle bladder cup? Some 7-8 methods are there.
Laparoscopic.
Can you name some techniques?
So one extra vesicle approach, one is plugging the stripping and plugging. I'm sorry, sir, not remember that.
Anyhow, I will send a question for all of you so you can read about it.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.